Welcome back to House TV Live. I'm Rick Spence, and joining me today is Mindy Laven with Mindy Laven Home in beautiful Newport Beach, California. And you're going to share one of your recent remodels of a home. Now, this is a little bit unusual. So tell me about this space. Where is this home, and what was the story here?
So this house is actually in Anaheim, California, and it's owned by a lovely family with two small kids. And when they purchased the house, it had been in escrow with someone else. And so all of the selections, if you will, were made. And it was just sort of basic builder grade, and they wanted something a lot more custom. So we did things like adding ceiling beams. We used a lot of color that wasn't in there to begin with, a lot of accessories. Vintage is always my vibe. I do what I call a vintage modern. So we added those touches that look like possibly they built this house custom.
So tell me about the family living room space and how you transformed it.
So this was just a flat ceiling, and we really wanted to add some texture. So we put reclaimed wood beams on the ceiling, which really added just sort of a lived-in, homey sort of feeling. Normally we'll amp up the fireplace. I'm going to raise the height a little bit, and the mantle is really important to me. So in this case, we had our craftsman make a mantle that exactly matched the beams. I use a lot of hand-painted terracotta. It's a little bit inconsistent, and I'm actually going for that.
What do you think was the most important, sort of the linchpin of the space, and then how did you layer it with the other elements?
I always think a rug is your base. So we started with this beautiful woven rug in blues and whites, and then we did custom drapery that complemented that, and then the tile on the fireplace was kind of the third piece of that equation, and then everything else got layered in on top of that. We did an extra long couch that can seat a lot of people, but then we did two comfy leather chairs. That was sort of a concession for the husband. And then we did these two amazing denim poofs that are for the kids.
Now, tell me about your pieces on either side of the fireplace.
So those are really cool rattan servers, and inside they have storage. So we were able to hide all of the components for the Art TV. I love Art TV because you can pick your frame. So we did a natural frame here, but you can also do brass or black or whatever. And when you're not using the TV, you can have it show a piece of art. It doesn't have to look like a big black TV.
That's beautiful. So tell me about the key elements of your vintage pop here.
So in the actual living room area, we have a little pot next to the couch that's actually a vintage bean pot. It's black, it's lacquered. Inside of it, we filled it with these really great vintage arrows with a bright pop of color that just gives it a great feeling. On the table, we have a mix of contemporary and vintage books, a little bit of vintage brass, and also a vintage pottery vase. And those little things, I think, juxtaposed with modern are what really gives a space my vintage modern look.
Nice. Let's hop into the kitchen. Anything happen in the kitchen?
Yeah, the kitchen had a standard island already in place, but it was white like the rest of the cupboards. And so we actually rewrapped the island, and we painted the whole thing this bright blue, which was sort of our theme that goes throughout the house. We added those amazing pendants above. Again, a little bit of a modern contrast with some of the vintage things that we layered in.
So in that island, tell me about the sink and the choices there and what happened.
We actually swapped out the faucet in this kitchen, and we put in a super industrial high arcing pull down faucet. And so it's got a black rubber tubing that runs through the middle of it, and it kind of ties back to our black pendants and then the black refrigerator that's right across from it. And the family really loved this. They're young and they're hip and they're cool, so they wanted to make a statement with the faucet.
The refrigerator is black. Is that new black stainless?
It is. And what was great about this fridge was that we could customize the handles and the pulls. The hood actually was stainless to begin with. So we completely tore that out. We added our own wooden framed hood, and then we trimmed it at the bottom with the same material that we used for the fireplace in the adjoining room. And then we changed all the handles and pulls out to brass because they were stainless.
It's amazing what just the brass will do to a space too like this.
I actually think handles are sort of like jewelry for the kitchen. So we're going to use something really simple that adds but isn't the star of the show.
Nice. You didn't have to move any walls. You didn't have to move anything around. The existing footprint was solid. Just materials, make it work. It works with the rest of the home. Really nice. Now, what about in the little dining area here?
Yeah, I love this little dining nook. The secret about that table is we have it in a round form most of the time, but it actually has leaves that go into it and it can make an oval. So they can serve lots of people or just their small little family. We loved this light because it was a shell material interspersed with brass. So it really is a statement piece for the entire room. And it added a little bit of whimsy and fun. And since they have kids, I try to infuse that in a few different places throughout the house.
Let's go up to the master bedroom and tell me about the master and what you did here. I see the beams.
So this was just a simple builder grade master. We wanted to repeat the beams somewhere else. They have a super high ceiling in there, so the beams worked really well. And we wanted to do a canopy bed. So between the bed and the beams, it draws your eye up and you really see the volume of the room. And then again, we did custom window treatments. I'm a huge fan of that. I feel like window treatments can change the whole look of a room. The idea was for the parents to really have a space that felt like a getaway. Like they wanted to feel like they were in the best hotel they've ever been in.
What about the little seat, the little bench at the end of the bed there?
Yeah, so the bench is just a great place to sit and take your shoes off, a place to take all those pillows. They can all be stacked up there at night and then put back on the bed in the morning. It's just super functional as well as pretty.
Is it carpet in this space?
So it's wall-to-wall carpet, but we layered in a rug on top of that. I'm never afraid to do that. I feel like it gives depth and dimension to a room.
All right, so let's go into the master bath. And this looks like it was in pretty good shape. What did you do in here?
So it was in pretty good shape and we liked a lot of the elements that they had going, but we added actually the paneling that goes around the bottom of the tub. And we added the surround for shampoo and razors and all those soap and all those great things.
The kids have a pretty cool space here.
I feel like these kids are pretty lucky to have this beautiful little space to play in. And mom and dad really wanted them to have a dedicated space where all the toys and things could go so that they weren't all over the house. So we actually did this custom built-in. It's in the same color as the island downstairs. Within that space, we built in 2 little desks so that this built-in will grow with the kids. They each will have their own little space to do homework, plug in electronics, all those great things. And then we actually added a refrigerator so that they can keep their snacks, their bottles, all their good stuff up there and not have to go down.
Yeah, they're never coming out of there. Yeah, you'll never see them again. So let's see here. So they have one extra space. So you guys turned it into an office. What did you do in there? What were you looking to accomplish with the home office?
Well, the extra bedroom was going to be used for the husband so that he could work occasionally from home. So we wanted to give it a more masculine feel than the rest of the house. So we did this amazing brass desk that I think is masculine, vintage, and modern all at once. And the most standout piece in that room, I think, is the chandelier. It's just this beautiful burnished brass with hand-blown glass globes. And I think that looks extremely custom and expensive, but really was not.
Yeah, really nice. What I love about this space is it just looks like it should have been this way from the beginning. It's so natural and organic looking. It's so seamless. It's really a seamless design, really beautiful.
Thank you. That's pretty much what I was going for. I always say I'm not trying to create a style. More than that, I'm trying to evoke a feeling. And so for this little family, I spent time getting to know them. And so although they wanted it to be really beautiful, they also wanted it to feel lived in, loved, and comfortable.
Yeah, and I think you achieved all that. Well, very nice talking to you, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
See you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.